Welcome to the American Veteran, a news magazine produced by the Department of Veteran Affairs, for you, your family, and caregivers. I'm Henry Huntley, an Army veteran, and I'm here with Melissa Heitz of the Air National Guard.
Each quarter, we'll bring you the latest news from VA, as well as inspiring stories we hope will resonate with you. We'd like to begin with this Marine veteran's journey to recovery through the martial arts.
It's crazy. I do Jiu Jitsu, which is a violent sport, to not fight. I can't explain it, but it helps. That's all I can say is it helps. I mean, I might be a little anxious, but once those two hands bump and you trust the person, you know, it takes a good minute, 2 minutes in a row. Oh my God, good. But you're still fighting, and you're like, man, I have to keep taking these beatings. And sometimes with the bipolar, you know, if I'm not training or in general, it's a beating that you're taking mentally. It's an emotional roller coaster. Sometimes I might see it before it happens and stop in its tracks. Sometimes it's too late. The counseling sessions help me tremendously.
Hey, how you doing today?
What's up, dude?
Checking in?
Yeah, man.
I have something to look forward to, and it's like, you know, I'm being constantly placed in check. I keep going off the road. He guides me, whoop, back on, whoop, whoop. Appreciate it. I really feel like I'm getting the help that I need. You could say under the internet, I believe that you can be rehabilitated or you can find a way to overcome. It's awesome. And then this is an added thing, it's the medication. It's just, I went through stuff and I'm fighting the battle. Can't control that. I'm not afraid to do anything anymore now. I have a sense of confidence, not arrogance, but confidence, like, I feel good.
Robert hopes his story will help others feel more comfortable with their challenges, and we thank Robert for sharing his story. All of the stories we bring to you today can be found online at VA's blog, Vantage Point. Visit us at blogs.va.gov.
In 2006, Marine Gunnery Sergeant John Fry was 1 week away from leaving Iraq to reunite with his wife and 3 children. He never made it home. Today, Sergeant Fry's legacy lives on thanks to his wife, Malia.
When I grow up, I want to be a soldier.
When I grow up, I'm going to be a nurse for the soldiers.
When I grow up, I want to be a singer.
I want to be in the Army as a chief fire motorman.
The Gunnery Sergeant John D. Fry Scholarship is named in honor of my husband. Every child of every fallen in line of duty receives it. It's not based on grades. It's not based on any qualifications. You have it. It's yours. I go to a TAPS event and I go in the kids section and there's 1,000 kids at a camp and I think every one of them gets to go to college. And that's pretty amazing. It started out surprisingly as a joke. I was joking with my children. My husband had been gone about 8 months and we were driving to school. On one side of the road was the new primary school, on the other side is the post office. And as we drove by, I said, okay, kids, which one are we going to name for Dad? And they giggled and laughed, and they said, the post office. Well, I let it go, and months went by, but it kept nagging at me. And I had told his men that I wanted to do something to make him be remembered. So I called the local VA office and started finding out what you did to get a post office named after someone. Little did I know, it takes an act of Congress. My husband was Gunnery Sergeant John David Fry. He was killed in action near Habbaniyah, Iraq, March 8th, 2006. He had 7 days left, was supposed to come home. They were clearing a road between TQ, Iraq, and Habbaniyah. They had disarmed 4 IEDs that night. They were working on the 4th at the time when he brushed his hand and found a remote IED with an antenna. He told his guys to freeze, remote, and went to disarm it, but they were watching and remote detonated it before he could disarm the IED. He was killed his guys made it home. The day he arrived in Dover, they arrived home. So he came home with his guys. It took 2 years from start to finish to get the dedication of the post office done. At the dedication was actually the first time I met a congressman, and he asked me the big question that he should have never asked me, what can we do for you? And so I told him, I said, I don't know how I'm gonna send my kids to college. And he said, let's see what we can do. Little did I know, 6 months later, he calls me and I was waiting in Taco Bell drive-thru to get my kids dinner. And I remember this so vividly. And he says, I'm going right now to present the extension of the GI Bill. I guess I'll call you when I'm done. So I got dinner and I was driving home and the phone rang and it was him. I pulled over the side of the road and he said, it passed. It passed unanimously. And he said, just so you know, it's not the extension of the GI Bill. It's the Gunnery Sergeant John D. Fry Scholarship. And that's the first time I knew it was going to be named after John. I have a 17-year-old, and she will use the Gunnery Sergeant John D. Fry Scholarship to go to school.
I'm very proud of my mother. You know, it's an honor of my dad, but it's really my mom who got it done. The accomplishments that she's made by herself, and then also taking care of a household, it's amazing. And I get teary-eyed thinking about it too. Because she's such a strong, womanly figure, and I love it. So.
And I run into kids all the time, and they find out they're adults now. We've had our first graduates, and they'll be like, "You're Fry? Are you that Fry?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm that Fry." And they're like, "Thank you, I got to go to college." And that just blows my mind when that sort of stuff happens.
I graduated in 2013 from Texas State University. I have a bachelor's degree in exercise and sports science. Honestly, if I didn't have the Fry Scholarship, I'm not sure how I would have actually completed school.
So not only was it a burden lifted from me, but I'm really glad I could help everyone else, that it went that far, that it was that far-reaching.
For more on the Fry Scholarship, as well as the many benefits and services VA offers, visit explore.va.gov.
In February 72 years ago, the United States Marine Corps landed on the island of Iwo Jima. The 5-week battle was one of the fiercest of World War II. Herschel Woody Williams was there.
Much of that day was just absolutely blank. Now, there are other things that are so vivid that I've never been able to get them out of there. When I hit the beach at Iwo, or we hit the beach at Iwo, we had established on Guadalcanal a special weapons unit, that's what we called it. And we had trained for flamethrower and demolition. We had been attempting to take pillboxes, which were numerous, and my commanding officer called for a meeting. He said to me, "Do you think you could do anything with flamethrower on these pillboxes?" I've never known what I said. Some of the fellows, after the campaign, we got back to Guam, some of the fellows said that my response was, "I'll try." He assigned me 4 Marines, 2 automatic riflemen and 2 regular riflemen, and I separated them. I put 2, spread them out so that they could have a crossfire, and got flamethrower on the back and started to work. I didn't know it because things are chaotic, but 2 of those Marines gave their life that day. They were there protecting me. were 13 of us receiving the Medal of Honor the same day. And of course, President Truman was doing the presentation. They have to read the citation, then they give the president the medal and he puts it around your neck. My body is shaking. That's how scared I was. And he said to me, as he said in many ways, different ways to different people, that he would rather have this medal than to be president. The next day, we had to report to the Commandant of the Marine Corps. I've said I don't know where I was more frightened, with the President or with the Commandant. I think with the Commandant. He meant more to me in the Marine Corps than the President did. You know? But one of us, in his conversation, one of the things that he said that's always been there is that medal. And he didn't make any motions. He's sitting there very stern. That medal does not belong to you. It belongs to all those Marines who never got to come home. That I remember. When I first got home, I got a letter from the VA, from the Veterans Administration, saying that I could have a job as a contact representative, and 33 years later I retired. I never dreamed what a great job it really was, because I'm going to be serving not only my fellow veterans, but I'm going to be serving families and survivors of veterans. And it makes you want to do everything you possibly can, and even more, to service them, to help them, to give them something that maybe they wouldn't have received any other way. So it was a very rewarding, best job in the world. I don't think it's a fault, but sometimes we do forget things that are very important to us, not necessarily just to us, but for historical purposes. We sometimes forget the sacrifices that have been made by families, by loved ones, by veterans, just so we can wake up free every morning. And without that commitment, that dedication, and that sacrifice, we wouldn't be America. We'd be something else.
For more than 3 decades, Woody continued his service to America by working with other veterans at VA in West Virginia and New Mexico. We thank you, Woody, for your dedication and service. After the break, Dr. Shulkin, why did you take this job? We sit down for an interview with the new Secretary of Veterans Affairs.
And to help serve our veterans.
I didn't want to talk. She just sat with me. That was all I really needed.
Coming, Mark?
We got back, and of course we went to different cities. One day he called me out of the blue, and it's comforting to know that I always can count on him to have my back.
We hadn't talked for a while, and then she texted me, and we went for a walk.
She called me from time to time. I really didn't think I needed any help.
I was away from my family during the holidays, and a friend invited me to their house for dinner. It really meant a lot.
He knew I was having a rough week, so he asked me to go fishing with him.
My friend knew that I didn't want to go out, so she brought me dinner instead.
It took me from being really depressed to feeling like somebody cared to give me some hope. Just that one text.
Be there. Your call, your presence, your words, your support. Be there and help save a life.
Welcome back to The American Veteran. Last December, VA expanded the Veterans Crisis Line with the addition of a new call center in Atlanta, doubling VA's ability to help veterans in need. We visited the new center to explore its resources.
Thank you for calling the Veterans Crisis Line. This is Therese speaking. How may I help you today? I'm about to save a life today. Yeah, have you ever spoken with the counselor about some of the feelings and thoughts that you've been having? A lot of times, a lot of crises that a lot of veterans have, they are not aware of the resources available to them. Understand? As a veteran myself, I figured that it would be better for me to give back to those who serve just like myself.
That's what we're here for, Samantha. I want to help you work through this. A lot of times they'll call, can you just listen? I just need somebody to talk to. Do you have family or friends? You can't do this type of work if you really don't care. And if you don't care about veterans and care about people, you can't do it.
Current research indicates that 20 veterans every day take their own lives. And that's one reason we at the Veterans Crisis Line have really focused on improving access to the active listening and supportive counseling services that veterans may need.
I want you to reach out to those people.
We know those needs are there.
Would you give us a call back?
We work very hard at making certain that we have responders available.
Really reach out and, take advantage of the resources that we have.
That's no problem. I have a resource here available to you, actually.
Veterans who are connected with the VA commit suicide less than people who are not connected. Whenever we can reach someone or someone reaches out to us to ask for help and we're there and can get them connected, it's huge. It's life or death.
Absolutely.
Veterans call, their families call, their loved ones call, and we can get them connected through the suicide prevention coordinators to mental health services.
Where combat veterans and their families can call.
If ever you find yourself in a situation that requires an opportunity to speak about the crisis that you may be experiencing, or if you need someone to have a listening ear, please don't hesitate to call 1-800-273-8255 and press 1 for an experienced Veterans Crisis Line responder to help you through that crisis.
You really can, but we want to help you work through it. It's so important.
The Veterans Crisis Line is here for you whenever you need us.
We're here 24 hours, 7 days a week. You don't need.
There are several ways in which a veteran in crisis or their family or friends can reach the VA. The Veterans Crisis Line at 1-800-273-8255 and press 1. Chat online at veteranscrisisline.net. or by sending a text message to 838255.
Just days after he was sworn in as the 9th Secretary of the Department of Veterans Affairs, I had the chance to sit down and speak with Dr. David Shulkin. We talked about his vision for the agency and how he plans to continue serving veterans.
Dr. Shulkin, why did you take this job?
Well, I'd like to think I'm not different than any other American. When somebody's asked to be able to step up and to help serve our veterans, how could you say no? And I'm no different than that. Everyone that I know feels strongly about making sure that our veterans get the very best services that they deserve. And when I was asked by the president whether I'd be willing to step up and to help, I didn't hesitate. Absolutely. Anything that I could do to be part of helping make sure that our veterans get these services, I wanted to be part of.
How do you empathize with veterans to best understand their needs as a healthcare provider, but now also as the head of VA?
Now that I'm secretary, I had been undersecretary for the past 18 months, so that was really a great opportunity for me to get to know the veteran community. And I'm so grateful that so many members of the veteran community reached out to me and really allowed me to understand what their needs were and what was important to them. So I feel like I got the best training by really listening and being part of that community. And so now, moving forward, I'm going to rely upon those same people and groups that have counseled me to actually step up and make sure that I am being responsive to the community and that we're designing a system that truly is veteran-centric.
What are some of the biggest challenges that face VA as you take on this position, and how do you plan to address them?
Well, I think some of our challenges result directly from our crisis that happened in April 2014, which was really a crisis along many fronts. But the end result was that we lost the trust of the people that we serve, and that truly is a crisis. Any company, any organization, government that loses the trust of those that they're serving really has to fundamentally rebuild itself, and I think that's where we are. It's much easier to lose trust than to build trust. And so it's taking us a while, although I believe that we are making important progress in regaining that trust of the veteran community. In part, when you overlie that issue of our crisis with the great demand on VA services, these are really our challenges. Many people, many veterans want to use the VA, and we've been challenged on both the benefit side and the healthcare side to be able to accommodate the numbers of people who want to use us and to give them the type of experience and quality of service that they deserve. So it's really along a dual front. It's making sure that we have the capacity to be able to do the job that we know that we need to do, and secondly, to continue to build upon that confidence that they have, that we're really here for them and that we have their backs.
Your time as Undersecretary for Health and your time as a healthcare provider will clearly help in your transformation of the VA, but what do you anticipate will be your initial focus as it relates to benefits, compensation services to veterans, their families, and their caregivers?
Overall, we want veterans to see us as a single VA and not as separate administrations in cemetery, benefits, and health. So I think we're trying to create a singular experience for veterans where they feel like we understand them, we're here for them, and we're responsive to their needs. When it comes to benefits in particular, I think that we have to make the process easier. It still is too burdensome, too complex, and people feel like it's a system that they're fighting rather than a system that's supporting them. And we need to make the decisions quicker. Part of that is that we need to have some legislative relief, and we're hoping to soon be able to pass a appeals legislation that would modernize the process. But part of it is we need to continue to look internally to find ways that we can do this better. I think our cemeteries actually show us a way forward. This is a part of the organization that most people don't recognize, rates #1 in satisfaction, and that really means satisfaction to the families in terms of giving their loved ones the respect and the service that they know that they deserve. And I think they are leading the way in showing us that this can be done within VA. And of course, health, which is so important, has the same challenges, but I know that we can meet the needs and that we can do better, and we will continue to do better because this is so important for us and for the country.
As Undersecretary for Health, you continue to see patients within the VA healthcare system. Is this something that you plan to do as Secretary of VA?
I do. I think it's important for me to make sure that I stay connected with the type of services that we deliver, and I get tremendous value from being able to actually take care of veterans and hear from them and work with staff and see the basic environment that we're all trying to build and to improve, and also see when there are deficiencies. I'll be heading up later today, actually, to spend time on President's Day when I round with our doctors and nurses taking care of patients in our hospital. I think that's an important part for me of making sure that I'm contributing back, and for me to make sure that I'm grounded in what's important to do for us to provide the very best care to our veterans.
What are some of the sentiments that veterans feel when they see you treating them? Do they have any idea of who you are?
Well, no. They don't know who I am. I'm just a doctor. I'm there to help veterans, and I don't want anybody to view me any differently than one more person who's there to serve them.
Check out the full interview with Secretary Shulkin on the Vantage Point blog. Visit blogs.va.gov.
Coming up next, we roll with champions.
It's time we all thought differently about homeless veterans.
I never thought of myself as a veteran, even though I served in the military.
Because when we know who our veterans are,
I never thought of myself as being at risk for homelessness, even though I lost my job and couldn't pay my mortgage anymore.
when we understand how easily anyone can become homeless.
I never thought of hiring a veteran, even though I was looking for someone with leadership skills and training.
When we realize how valuable our veterans are and how we can each make a difference in their lives.
I never thought the VA benefits I'd earned included services for homeless veterans.
And when we understand that VA is here to help, we can end veteran homelessness.
I never thought my life could turn around from being homeless to having safe housing and a job until I turned to the VA.
If you know of or are a veteran who is homeless or at risk for becoming homeless, contact the nearest VA Medical Center for support at va.gov/homeless.
Welcome back to The American Veteran. Every summer, nearly 600 veterans from across the country gather to compete in the National Veterans Wheelchair Games. Co-presented by Veteran Affairs and the Paralyzed Veterans of America, the Games uses the power of sports to engage those with severe injuries, proving what some see as a limitation is only a state of mind.
Having a disability need not be an obstacle to an active, rewarding life. With a partnership of VA and PVA, this event has evolved to become the crown jewel of adaptive sports. Now is your time to reclaim life. Now is your time to lead once again by example. And now is the time to carry these miracles back into everyday life and inspire others to follow. You are here because you want to better yourselves physically, and you've all worked very hard to attain that goal. You have strength of mind and body. You have endurance and determination of will. That same courage and determination that brings you here brought you to the streets of Fallujah and to the mountains of Kandahar, to Da Nang and to Hue. You've been to Iwo Jima, Omaha Beach, Nasiriyah, and Ramadi. You put your life on the line in service to our country in the face of seemingly insurmountable odds. And you have continued those efforts here this week. You are a veteran.
I'm a veteran.
I'm a veteran.
We are veterans.
I am a veteran.
I'm a veteran.
I'm a veteran.
I am a veteran.
I am a veteran.
I'm a veteran.
I am a veteran.
I am a proud veteran.
I am a veteran.
You are a veteran, and by your example, you will touch the lives of many people whom you will never even meet.
The 37th Annual National Veterans Wheelchair Games will take place in Cincinnati this summer. Registration is now open at wheelchairgames.org.
That's it for this edition of The American Veteran. We are honored to bring these stories to you.
You can see everything we've shared with you today, as well as detailed information about veterans resources online. Please follow our social media channels and subscribe to our podcast, This Week at VA, available in your app store.
Thank you again for joining us today, and we look forward to seeing you soon.